Hey there, how you going? Jason here, thanks for joining me. Today's subject is the ego. And what the hell is it? I've been asked this question so many times. I reckon I change my answer every single time that I get asked it. And I'm not the guru on ego, but I have a perspective. I have an opinion on it. So, feel free to add yours in there as well if you want. Don't give me the dictionary version. That's just a bit stale. Doesn't really capture, I don't think, what it is. So for me, my own personal experience with my own ego is that I'm a human and I'm a being, and the human side for me captures a lot of the mind and my memories and my story and my identity and my blueprint around who I am as a human. And then my being side is my life energy. It's, for me, I believe that I have a soul and I have a life force that is running through everything, that is running through nature. I don't know why I pointed at that plastic plant then, because that's not really, it's plastic. But you get what I mean. I believe that, that we are bigger than just the human side. I believe that we're all connected and we're here for a reason. And so the ego for me is really held in that human aspect. So even though they are one in the same vehicle and the same body, they feel to me to be different, even though they're somewhat connected and talking to each other. But so my ego for me is my human identity. It feels to me my human identity, which is a collection of experiences, influences, stuff that I've grabbed and experienced and obtained and looked at, and my human side has collated all of these experiences and information, and it's gathered all this data and it's pulled itself into what has identified itself as my human ego of who I believe I am, or my story about myself, which I absolutely feel I'm not my story. I feel that I am this beautiful being, but I forget that, because often if I had not meditating, then I forget. I forget that I'm this beautiful being and that I'm connected to everything and to nature and to everybody else, and I'm full of love and abundance, and I know that sits within me, and I know it sits within me because every time I meditate, that's what comes up. It just, this feeling of I am connected to life, to energy, to everyone else, just comes over me. I know that when I surrender out of my ego, that is what I feel, and that is real for me. It might not be real for you, or you might have a different experience, but that is what's real for me. So my ego is for me, it is my human side, which is my story about my human self and my blueprint and identity, which I've attached stories and traumas and influences, everything from, you can imagine, I know that I act a certain way, my human self acts a certain way because of certain experiences. I know that when I went through school, I didn't feel very smart. I didn't feel there was a particular maths teacher, which was he was quite a bully, and he really made me feel like I was dumb. And that experience that he would embarrass me and shame me and bully me when and in the classroom and make me go to the whiteboard and make fun of me. I know that I made that part of my story. I know that that has made me act in certain ways in defense of that in order to prove that I'm not dumb. And so, but that's very much caught up in that story and that ego. And that's just one thing. And we've got hundreds of thousands of these things since birth. Our parents, our school teachers, our social media, what we look at every day. These, influences that show us what life's supposed to be like and how we're not that. And, wars and media and just, we've got all of this stuff wrapped up in this ego. And, so for me, that's what it is. I mean, the discussion here or this topic is really just identifying what is ego. It's not what to do about it. That's a long video. But it's good to identify, and it's good to identify what your version is rather than, just taking it for whatever somebody else is, but to identify what that is for you. For me, it's really important to know because I speak to it all the time. I speak to my ego. I can literally see it and feel it like making decisions in my head. And I know that when I'm not meditating, I fall into my ego way too much. And it's full of fear. It's full of all these things that are made up of all these past experiences. And it does not serve me. I know it doesn't serve me. And when I'm meditating and I'm really connected on the abundance love side, I just know that my intuition is on point and I'm listening to it and I'm not scared and I'm courageous and I'm powerful and I know who I am. And so, there's this constant, I don't want to say battle, but it is kind of feels like a battle to me. But meditation and mindfulness for me is the vehicle which shifts the balance from one to the other. But it's important to have this discussion around ego and what it is, and so that we can define it and do something about it if we want. So I'll leave it over to you. If you've got some comments and feedback around your ego or what you believe ego is, I'll be happy to hear it. That's just my feeling about it. So have a good day and right away in the channel. All right, ciao.